In this video, I am going to graph f of x equals -2 sine 3x. First, we're going to find the amplitude and period in order to graph this function. So amplitude, it's gonna be the number in front of sine or cosine, if we have a sine or cosine function. And the number 3, we're gonna label as b, and that's gonna help us with the period. So first, amplitude. I'm gonna write a equals, and amplitude is the absolute value of the number, in this case, absolute value of -2, which is 2. Now period. So period is going to be, as you know, for sine and cosine is 2 pi. However, in this case, because we have a number 3, not number 1, but number 3 in front of the x, we're going to take the period divided by b, which is in this case 2 pi divided by 3. Okay, so again, we're gonna label a and b. A is amplitude. This number in front of the x is gonna help you to find the period. So then, let's see, if I wanna graph this, I will have 0 here. Amplitude is gonna be 2, my lowest point is gonna be -2, and I know that my period is going to be 2 pi 3 in this case. 2 pi over 3, I'm sorry, 2 pi over 3. Now, to graph this function, we need to have more points, or they also called key points or steps. Let me just kind of make them more spread out here. Somewhere here, here, here. So we wanna know what those values are, because since the period now is not 2 pi, we can write pi over 2 and pi and 3 pi over 2. Now those values are changing, and what we can do is to find those values. I'm going to write those steps. So we have steps. Some textbooks call them key points, so I'm calling them steps. It's easier to write. And what we do is we're gonna take the period. So I'm just gonna first write it down. We take the period and we're gonna divide by 4, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different values. So we're gonna always split it in 4 if we wanna graph one whole cycle or one period of the function. So now, the steps are, in this case, I'm going to take the period that I got, 2 pi over 3. So I have 2 pi over 3 and divided by 4. Now that doesn't look very good, right? So I'm just going to write 4 over 1. So now notice that, and I'm just going to erase this part here so it's not confusing here. Okay. So now, I'm gonna show you how you can divide fractions when you have a fraction divided by another fraction. I know that here if you are in United States, you learn to write down the first fraction and then multiply by flipping the second fraction. But I'm gonna show you a trick if the fractions are set up this way. I actually learned it in Slovakia when I went to school. I believe that was like 4th or 5th grade. And I thought this is the only way that people do fractions. I didn't know there was any other way. So here is what you do. You take the outside number times outside number, which in this case it's 2 pi times 1, which is 2 pi. And inside times inside, which is 3 times 4 is 12. That's it. That's how you divide fractions in Slovakia, believe it or not. Okay, so now we're gonna simplify 2 and 12, and our answer is pi over 6. Okay, so now we have those values here. The x1, the very first point where we start, is gonna be 0 because it's a sine function. So we're gonna start at x1 equals 0. Then we have x2 equals, we're gonna add to 0 pi over 6. Now each time we're gonna add this number. So we have 0 plus pi over 6, which is pi over 6. Alright? So we're adding pi over 6. And each time we add pi over 6. So now you will have a 2 pi over 6. So x3 is going to be pi over 6 plus pi over 6. That's 2 pi over 6, which is pi over 3. So this is gonna be pi over 3. And x4 is going to be, I'm gonna take 2 pi over 6 instead of pi over 3 because it's easier to add fractions, right? Since we have a common denominator. So now we have a 3 pi over 6, which is pi over 2. So this is gonna be pi over 2. And now x5 is going to be, I'm gonna take 3 pi over 6, just keep it with the denominator 6, plus pi over 6, and that is 4 pi over 6, which equals, if we simplify, 2 pi over 3, and that is exactly what we have, okay? So now we have to graph. And since this is a sine function, I'm gonna start at 0, but now we have a -2. When we have a negative number, we are going to go down to -2, back up here to 2, and back down to 0. Okay, so and then you're gonna try to connect the points, kind of like creating a curve rather than triangles. I know it's not easy, but just kind of approximately, okay? So, and that's it. That's the f of x equals -2 sine 3x function. I hope this was helpful. Please let me know if there is anything you would like me to graph or to solve. And thank you for watching. And I hope that was helpful.